Hi guys, I will be with you again today with another video in Gando Tech Learning channel. Please like and subscribe if this video was helpful. Thank you. Today I'm going to start another discussion in terms of the Docker. So it's going to be a second part of Docker introduction. So we had some sort of brief introducing the Docker, what is Docker, and in terms of some details, architectures, the Docker engine, and some other things. So today we are continue going more deep into the Docker stuff and at the end walk you through the Docker installation to see what sort of issues we could face. So agenda for today is where to download the Docker for Windows, what is the system requirements, and what is included in the installer, and what is Docker engine, and at the end walk you through how to install the Docker on your local. So the best place to download the Docker is Docker website. So these are some screenshots I just put in the slides to just give you some sort of background. And then once we walk through the installation, you will see all these things physically. So as you can see, that's the URL for downloading the most recent version of the Docker. And as you can see, that's the you can get and download the file from here. So uh, uh, before downloading the Docker, so you need to have some prerequisite things to make sure you would be able to run Docker on your machine. So the first thing is you should have the Windows 10 64-bit, and any additions like Pro, Enterprise, or Educations, and the minimum build which you are required to use is 16K. That's the build for your operating system. So I put the Windows version a screenshot here. If you go to the start and type win so and enter, it will give you this window which you can check your Windows version and the OS build, as you can see it here. So which means this operating system is capable to run the Docker. So the other requirement is the Hyper-V and containers Windows feature must be enabled on your machine. So you can install the Docker, but once you restart your machine and Docker is trying to run, you will get the error which is displaying on the left side. So this indicator give you that basically hint, oh, I need Hyper-V on my machine. So it's easy, no worry about that. You can just easily go and add it to your Windows as a feature. So if you go to the Windows feature in control panel and click on turn Windows features on or off and search for Hyper-V and ticked it and just do OK. That's it. It will install a required feature to have the Hyper-V on your machine, and that's it. So to note that there are some tips which is really important to basically make your Docker installation and Docker running straightforward. Because if you don't have those small things, you will face with some issues. You have to sort them out. But if you basically prepare those prerequisites, you will have a straightforward Docker installation. So this one is one of them. The other thing as a requirement is having a WSL most recent version. For in my case is version 2. So the WSL Windows is a Windows subsystem for Linux, which is giving you that ability to run Linux commands on your Windows. So you need to have the Linux kernel. And again, if you install the Docker without having that, you will face with the error message during running the Docker. As you can see, WSL whatever version installation is incomplete, but it's so easy. It just takes you through this link. You go there and install the WS2 kernel on your machine and just install it. And as you can see in this screenshot, you just install it and do finish, and then restart your Docker. Just ask you to restart the Docker, and then you will have Docker up and running. And the other requirement is the hardware which you are required to, the minimum basically hardware um, features, which is the processor must be 64-bit and also minimum 4 GB system RAM. And the other thing which is very important and really tiny, and anyone can miss it, this is another tip, is BIOS level hardware virtualization must be enabled on your BIOS. So the indicator which you can easily on your Windows 10 see that to have actually this virtualization is enabled or not, is to going to task manager and then go to the performance and then see this virtualization here which must be enabled. This indicator tell you, oh, okay, the virtualization is also ready to make Docker up and running. In Windows 10 by default is normally enabled, but if for any case it was disabled, you just need to go to your BIOS and go to the virtualization and just make it enable. That's it, simple as that. So now if you want to install the Docker, what would be included in this install? So by installing the Docker on your machine, you will have Docker Engine, Docker CLI, Docker Compose, Notary, Kubernetes, and Credential Helper. So you have basically heard about some of them, and in my previous video, and you will learn about basically others as we go through the other basically things or other videos. So now I think it's time to walk you through the Docker installation to see live how we are going to install the Docker. So just bear with me. Right, as you can see, I've got the main website for the Docker, which is Docker website, and it's actually has got some like a dashboard here, which gives you the ability to do whatever you require to do. So we are interested on download and install. So you just need to click on that. So based on your operating system, you will choose the appropriate installation, which our case is Windows. So we just click here, and it will walk you through a proper documentation in terms of installing the Docker desktop. But you just need to click on this Docker from Hub, and in this page you will have the link here to be able to just download it. So just need to click on the Docker and just wait until it's installed. I will pause it because I already have this file on my downloads, and I just need to download it. So it will start downloading the data. As you can see, it will check some configurations to make sure everything is in place, and then by clicking OK, it start unpacking the files for you to make the basically the data for installation, the Docker installation. It take a while to be unpacked, and then after basically all the files unpacked on your machine, it will start automatically the installation. And then at the end, once the installation successfully has been finished, ask you to restart your machine. And so before restarting your machine, you won't be able to run the Docker. So yeah, but it depends. Sometimes if all the prerequisites are ready, you can try it. If it's working and running on your machine, you can just try it. If it didn't work, then just restart your machine. So yeah, so as I said, it's taking a while to have these files unpacked on your machine. Okay, after all the files unpacked on your machine is the start the installation. So now the Docker with the most recent version, which as you can see is a 2.5.0.1, is installing on my machine, and just we have to wait until the installation is successfully finished, as you can see, and then just run close. So let's try. I'm gonna search for Docker desktop. This is what I expect to have on my machine, and it's going to run and starting on my machine now. As you can see, is starting. So that's the dashboard. So as you can see, now we have the Docker on my machine. Is starting the Docker is taking some time to start, and so yeah, you now the Docker desktop, as you can see, as per the hint, is running. Wow! So we have Docker is up and running on our machine, and that's it. So there are this that's basically a Docker dashboard, which is giving you in terms of the containers, which is up and running on your machine. There are lots of things which we go to them accordingly. As you can see, the Docker is running now, and other things in terms of the Docker, you can sign in. In the Docker website and log in and use sort of facilities. You can restart the Docker whenever it's required. You have got sort of settings, check for updates. You have got about Docker itself, which gives you some information in terms of the versions. What's the channel? Is that stable or is that a release? And also what sort of components are installed and with which versions on your machine. And yes, so it was sort of a walkthrough Docker installation to see basically the Docker is working up and running on your machine, and you can use it as required. Thank you very much guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe this channel. Thank you. Bye.